Oh, no, not yet, but soon. Welcome to This Week at MBE. Let's go take a walk around the shop. So we finished up some 13s and 10s. I think this gives you an idea of how the stuff comes in. No seat bores, no guide bores, little itty bitty ports. Show them those bigs. That's how the ports start out. And then when we finish, here's a set that's right here with the serial number on them and everything. It's a 13 and a 10. Castings look the same, just the port and valve arrangement's a little bit different, depending if you're NA, nitrous, or just power adder in general. Arguably the baddest ass wedge head available, and it's probably been like that for about 15, 17 years. A lot of cross-section area compared to everything else. Just to give you an idea on these 13s and the 10s that we sell, typical valve length to get the lift, or typical valve length for these, or for most of the stuff, is like 5/800 on a wedge head. This stuff is 6/200 long. What it means is it's much larger over the short turn and all of that, because it needs that extra length of the valve because we've raised everything up in it. And then let's go in here, as we were at earlier. So we got, these are going on blown boats. So we have the blown boat classes out west, very popular. So the 18-degree stuff is getting very popular for the conventional head. They have to run a conventional head, blown boats. They got it on the East Coast also. So we have the 18-degree, we have the 2420 version, the 2500 version. We got manifolds coming, so we'll be able to show you the whole thing with the manifold and everything for the blown stuff. But this stuff is it's going to be awesome. That stuff is going to run really, really good. And it's already catching on, but it's definitely going to keep catching on. We got a set of, this is 18 degree with the 2500 valve in it right here. You can tell all the fasteners on the rocker bar, that one-piece bar that you guys have seen in some of the other videos, or hope you have. If not, look for the 18-degree max pull. Now this is the manifold, so this is for large cubic inch or high RPM, one or the other. That's what that manifold works best on. The guys at M&M make this casting, and we're fortunate enough that they sell it to us without the bolt holes and everything. So they basically give us a raw piece so we can make it fit our heads. So, and I'm sure they love to sell you those manifolds for other things, but this is the M&M manifold that we use. And this thing's a bad little piece. The reason why this manifold works so good, short runners, you can even see them from the outside, large plenum volume, big power. So it's enough plenum volume for a 632. It's also enough plenum volume for 10,000 RPM for you truck pull guys. And then we have this, which is not ready, but it's going to be soon, and it's going to be killer. That's good. And then, so here's a set of 13s. The same wedge heads we talked to in the beginning. So it's a 13-degree wedge deal with Steve from Induction Solutions. We had him do a whole setup for this. So we got valve covers, intake manifold, dominator. Okay, the billet with the MBE billet manifold. It's got all the pills, everything you need for it. So with the valley tray, everything. So all this is in inventory. So this stuff's ready to sell, which we know it's hard to get parts. So we got valves in stock, everything like that. We also have the 10-degree with the 4150. So with the valley tray. So this is for super late model guys like that. This stuff is in inventory. So the cool thing about this, that manifold weighs 9 pounds. I think I can pick that up with my bad arm. So look at that. So straight off the machine, all the porting's done on the machine, all the deburring and everything. And we always put not a lift pad on there because it only weighs 9 pounds. So that's the last place you want to lift a 300-pound engine or whatever they weigh. Okay. This customer wanted the intake flange O-ring, so he doesn't want to run a gasket. So we can either do a gasket or with the O-ring. We'll go over all that if you decide to, if you're looking into this, and I'll go over the reasons, the benefits of both. Sometimes the cheaper way is better. And then let's go in the back. set of our Hemi Heads for the Brad Anderson platform that we sell. So if you have your Brad Anderson block or your Noonan block, then we have our version that goes on those blocks right here. So this is the MBE. This is the Pro Extreme head, 2520 intake valve, inch 930. You got an exhaust port that goes 380, something like that. And the intake port goes 600. It actually goes over 600. That's why these things run so good. Nice part about this, these get dynoed every single year for 10 years. And we always do excellent with the dyno results, and that's why these continue to sell. Okay, you can see the typical MBE workmanship. Just the guys here, everyone cares, and they're very meticulous and do a wonderful job. And then, let's see, we got a ported big 9 manifold here, cast one. We have that. And then Dave just assembled a set of Dart LS 10 degree heads. So this is the Dart LS 10 degree. You can see it's got a lot of valve area in it. This is so it's got the soft chamber. It's got hoops in it. Convex on the intake valves. 2 degree hub in the exhaust valves. This is a power adder, but it's also an endurance application. And you can tell by the valve spring that it's an endurance application. That's an inch 310 spring. That spring is good to 900 lift in an endurance application. So you can go run 300 miles on that spring. It's pretty badass. And it does control the valve, which controls the lifter, so parts don't fail. As we know, most engine failures are due to something in the valve train failing. It's typically not kicking a rod out or something like that. So we got all that. And so that, let's see what we got in here. Whoops. So we're serviced. So these are here. This is another set. So Dave's honing the guides in these. And then we have a set of Brad heads here to service. A set of SC1s over there to service. So these are for Ken Everett. So these are being honed. They'll be valve job tomorrow. And we'll be assembling those this week. And then we have another set of, just spec heads right there. So that's for a dirt racer out in Iowa. That's been a customer of ours, I think, since 2004. We used to do his SC2 heads on his Craftsman truck, and now his son is racing, and these are for him. So we sent the heads here. We got them all livened up, and we're doing an intake manifold for it also. We got another intake manifold out here that we're doing for a customer. So the customer sent their cylinder heads here. They're having problems making power up high because it's got a 4150 on it, so the manifold isn't close to big enough. Got a 4-hole taper spacer, which is always a good idea. So this is before. So when we port this, all of these are going to be pulled back very far. We're going to create a lot of plenum volume in this. We're going to bring this out as far as we can without going through. We're going to shorten the runners, and we're going to get this thing to run up high. If the manifold's too small, it does two things. It won't run up high because it doesn't have enough air. If you think of this as a reservoir, it doesn't have enough air. You pull one charge in at a time. There's only so much you can pull through that. So when we do that, then it runs up high. But the other thing it does is it makes more torque this way. But it'll carry up high, and it won't go rich. And that's what happens with the smaller manifold and the smaller carburetor. You can't put enough high speed in it, or air bleed in it. It will always go rich. That way, with the larger carburetors, typical small block guys now, you have to talk to carburetor guys. But what we hear is 500 butterfly on a small block, 434 inches is very common. So at least that's the information Dale Kubik said. And I'd say between Dale and Braswell, you got two of the best. All right, well that's it. That's this week at MBE, and thank you for joining us.